Hello everybody, BrioS here, and today I have for you my NVA-S Champion. And yep, this is the one you can buy for MC, and it comes with triple AMS. And being a champion, it gives you 30% more XP per game. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the build and the skills that I'm using for my Nova Champion, along with a nice little video for you to see how it works out for you. So let's talk about the build first. As you can see in the arms, I've changed the weapons. And that's because I'm going for a 6 ER small lasers per arm build for a total of 12 ER small lasers. And for ammunition, I've gone for 5,000 rounds of ammunition, that is 2.5 tons of AMS ammunition, to power this triple AMS. And that's all this on a small little 50 tonner called a Nova. So let's go down to the design intent. It shows you what I intend to do with this build, and we'll talk about the skills, all that using Kitlaan's planner. Okay, so here we have the design intent for my Nova Champion. And obviously it's going to be AMS support, but in terms of fighting, I envision myself standing behind the front lines, behind the heavies and assaults as they fight, and I'm going to give them AMS support. And for damage, I'm going to pop tart over them, and use my jump jets to stay up there and dish out 12 ER small lasers of damage, pinpoint damage at short range. So this means I'm going to go for some jump capabilities in this mech. And versus light mechs, it's pretty good because you have 12 ER smalls and all in the arms. So I'm going to go for cooldown so I can fire faster before they get away. So more damage per second, but that's going to come at heat. So I'm going to need some heat gen skills to basically reduce the heat generated. And in terms of survivability, I am not going to spend much because I envision it to be more mobile. I'm not going to FaceTime the enemy much, so I'm just going to go for jumping, moving, and lots of mobility. So that's it, that's the design intent. So let's get down to Kitlaan's planner, which you see here. And I have highlighted a few that I want to show you. So these are the cooldown and the heat gens. So I might go for as many as I can, especially the cooldown. Laser duration is pretty useful because small lasers, burn time is quite a problem, so well, they help. In terms of armor, I am not going to get much, possibly just a few to get armor hardening, but most important, I am going to get AMS overload. These are crucial for this build. In terms of agility, I highlighted anchor turn, so that's pretty useful for this mech because I will need to turn to fight those lights according to my design intent. And of course, some kinetic burst and heartbreaking for XLT cell. Jump capabilities, fan calibration, I've highlighted some for you to show you this is the one that keeps you up in the air longer. And because 12 ER small lasers can run pretty hot, I'm going to get some heat shielding to reduce the amount of heat generated so that I will not shut down in mid-flight. I've highlighted a few here like quick ignition. This will help me power up faster after shutting down. As I mentioned, 12 ER smalls do generate quite a lot of heat, so odds are I will shut down. And just some cool run and heat containment to basically keep the mech cool and not shut down. That's pretty obvious. Yeah. So sensors, just the usual 9. I'll get this later. There it is, to get the 60% radar deprivation and one extra consumable slot because I will need one for UAV to basically find those lights when they attack our front lines, and another for the cool shot 18. So these are what I chose, and do take note, these are just goal notes. I have not chosen yet. I'm just showing you what is useful for this particular build and the design intent. But let's get down to the actual build I have chosen. So as you can see, I have gone for 26 weapons, 5 armor structure, so on and so forth, as you can see here. So let's go through the skill trees. For weapons, I have gone for quite a bit of cooldown, as I mentioned. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 cooldowns for a total of 6%, allowing me to fire 6% faster, and some heat generation and range, because I will need this to link those nodes, as you can see. But range for small lasers are actually really useful. In terms of armor structure, I'm just getting it enough to get AMS overload. Actually, that's it. I decided not to go for any armor hardening or stuff like that. Because I envision it to be agile, I have spent 19 points for agility. That's quite a bit. And I was able to get 1, 2, 3, 4 anchor turns for 20% turn rate increase, and a whole heap of kinetic bursts, heartbreak, and even 3 speed tweaks. So in terms of speed tweak, it has a 4.5 increase of speed, and XL decel, XL being kinetic burst, I've got 21%, Heartbreak is deceleration. I've got 14%. As I mentioned, I will need quite a bit of jump capability, so I've actually got 2 lift speeds that allows me to jump up faster, and 4 jump calibration allows me to stay up longer, and quite a lot of heat generation to allow me to basically just not overheat so much. This reduces heat. I've even got 2 skill nodes for vectoring because it increases the forward thrust. I might want to jump over the front lines to secure those kills. And for operations, a mishmash of skills, basically getting quick ignitions. I've gotten 5 of them, and all 5 cool run, trying to keep it as cool as possible. And of course, as I mentioned, the standard 9 sensors for 60% radar depth, and 1 consumable slot for the extra consumable. So that's my skill tree. The link is in the description below. So let's get into the client and sink in those skill points. Alright, so now that we are back, we're gonna sink in those skill points, and I have already done it. So if you look at my skills, I have followed my planning and I have put in all the skills in already. That is 26 points for firepower, just a bit in survivability, 5 only. Mobility, I've gone for 19 because it needs to move quite well like I mentioned before. 12 for jump jets being a pop-tarting mech. And operations 19 because I am favoring mobility over survivability as I mentioned, and this will prevent me from shutting down. Sensors the usual 9 for 60% radar deprivation and 1 extra consumable slot. So all this on the mech results in me being able to pack a advanced UAV and a cool shot 18 because it can run pretty hot. So that's my NVA-S champion. And let's see how this does on the battlefield. Hello everybody, this is my Nova champion and it is fully mastered, so let's see how all these skills work out on this Nova. But first, let's look at the map. It is River City and it is skirmish. And I will link up with this assault. Alpha Alpha, it's a Viper. Viper. Enemy UAV up, Echo 5.
UAV down.
Thank you. Raven Charlie left leg.
New target acquired.
Got a Kodiak Fox 7.
New target acquired.
We are just chasing rabbits here.
Target spotted.
Target
Golf 5, 1 assault. You guys hit there?
Target spotted.
fuel at 55%.
Orion down. affiliate linebacker is running. Oh, it's a big mess here. Okay, I gotta cool down.
New target acquired.
Target spotted.
Lima, Lima, Golf 5 team, Lima. Coming in Hotel 5.
At 25%. Target acquired.
Ooh, that's another kill.
Acquired.
Charlie, Charlie. Oh, almost.
New target acquired.
Well, they're almost down. So that's quite a lot of kills. I can't see the kill indicator, so I don't know how many kills I got.
At 25%. Build at 0%.
Hostiles are eradicated. Bask in the glory
Yep,
of
12-0 victory in my Champion Nova. And yep, one-sided game. Let's see how much damage I caused. Probably 600. Oh, 723 rather. 4 kills, 2 solo. And looking at the scores, that's 557, top of team with the Nova champion.